From Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, Florida, it's the World Series of Soccer. Today, the United States World Cup team against the team from the Commonwealth of Independent States in their first game outside of what was the Soviet Union. Today's game is presented by American Airlines, the airline that is proud to be selected the official carrier of the United States World Cup team. And brought to you by Mars Milky Way Bar. Enjoy the smooth chocolate and caramel taste of the original smoothie. And by Budweiser. It's clean, it's crisp, it's cold. It's the king of beers. That's why nothing beats a Bud. And by Coca-Cola Classic, official sponsor of U.S. Soccer. You can't beat the real thing. And welcome to Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. A pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm Randy Hahn, and welcome to a brand new year of international soccer and the World Series of Soccer here on Sports Channel. Today, the USA against CIS. What is the Commonwealth of Independent States? Well, it's the old Soviet Union minus the Baltic countries, and we're not really sure what we're in for as far as soccer is concerned from them. We do know a lot about the United States, though, and working with me today is Matt Barr. Matt, the United States has had a couple of months off over the holidays, and it's a brand new year for them. How do they look?
Well, they better look pretty good individually because it's crunch time for the U.S. players. They must impress Borer because it's here that he's going to decide the nucleus of the World Cup team.
Well, we're in for a bit of history here today, of course. This will be the first time that the CIS team has ever played. Joining us also on the broadcast today is Rick Davis down on the field. Rick, what can we expect from the Commonwealth?
Well, Randy, as you and Matt have both mentioned, it's new beginnings for this team. It's an opportunity to go out there and get a fresh start, play under a new flag, play as a country that has undergone significant change. Similar to the American team, though, it's an opportunity for these players to win spots on a team that will play later on in the European Championship this year, and in turn will hopefully be a part of the World Cup team when they try and qualify for the '94 World Cup.
Well, it's a brand new world out there, and it's a brand new season of soccer for us here on the World Series of Soccer, and we'll be back with the opening kickoff in Miami. You're watching the World Series of Soccer on Sports Channel.
Should I pass right? Should I go deep? Looks like blitz. Up the middle, sweep left. Don't know. Got to do something. Catch it, catch it, catch it. Yes!
Now, for the first time ever, with Interactive Network, you can win prizes for accurately predicting what the quarterback does, live as the games are broadcast. Call now and find out why Interactive Network can only be experienced live.
Sports Channel's your sweetheart this February with more action from the red-hot Golden State Warriors. Call in live and ask the Warriors your questions on Warrior Warm-Up and catch the exciting finishes on the fourth quarter replay. The San Jose Sharks glide through February on Sports Channel with their call-in show, Sharks Talk, plus the third period replay. But there's more. Local and national college basketball, the NHL, Olympic previews, World Cup soccer, baseball's greatest games, and more. When you can't be there, be here. Sports Channel.
The fascination always existed. The human body, without doubt, is the greatest of inventions. Flawless in design, capable of astonishing feats. Amazingly, the harder the body is worked, the stronger, more beautiful it becomes. To unlock your body's potential, we proudly offer SoloFlex, 32 old-fashioned iron-pumping exercises, each correct in form and balance, all on a machine that fits in the corner of your home. SoloFlex, simple and efficient, like the body itself, which may explain why it looks less like a machine and more like a work of art. For a free brochure, call anytime.
Welcome back to Miami. This is the time of the year when league play is going on in soccer around the world. So a lot of the top players that were at the World Cup for the Soviets in 1990 that would be on this CIS team today are with their teams overseas. That's the case for some of the American players as well. But the CIS lineup does have some veteran players, beginning in the back with their goalkeeper, number 1, Dmitry Karin. He was the backstopper in their 1988 Olympic gold medal victory in Seoul, Korea. Number 4, Sveba, one to watch for as well. He was at the World Cup in Italy 2 years ago. And watch for number 7, Chernishev. They call him one of the fastest players in all of the CIS. For the United States, a lineup that is somewhat familiar. A couple of changes. Hugo Perez still recovering from surgery. His spot in the midfield taken by number 2, John Mahalik. And Bruce Murray out of this game due to a red card. His spot up front taken by number 6, Jorge Acosta. So the United States, coming off their best year in recent memory, get their first game of 1992 against the CIS. And we'll have the kickoff right after this.
Making life a little sweeter. Making life a little sweeter. Mars. Making life a little sweeter. Can stay a while. Making dreams a little truer. Life a little
International soccer comes Soccer International. North America's fastest growing full-color soccer monthly brings alive a world of great soccer action. Every month, through 70 pages of stunning photography, revealing graphics, and incisive commentary, Soccer International brings you International Spotlight, star player profiles, coaching and refereeing tips, North American Soccer Report, and more. 12 issues, only $22.95. Soccer International.
Subscribe now, and you also will receive this outstanding aluminum coach's clipboard absolutely free, almost indestructible and easily erasable. You can plot key plays, detail strategy, and explain moves. As used by leading coaches and players worldwide, this aluminum board will give you years of use. Use it at every practice. Use it at every game. It would make a perfect Christmas gift. 12 full-color issues of Soccer International, plus a great coaching clipboard for just $22.95. Less than $1.91 per issue. Call toll-free 1-800-448-3242.
It was just another Saturday afternoon until those old guys came out of the woods with axes. Just when they thought it couldn't get any weirder, it did. They even brought their own music.
Awesome! Hey, fellas, how about a cold bud? A bud?
Obviously, we thought alike.
Oh, that's cold.
Welcome back to Joe Robbie Stadium on a rather cool day by South Florida standards here in January. Temperatures starting the day in the 70s, but it is dipping quickly, and it could be as low as into the 40s by the end of game time here today. Randy Hunt along with Matt Barr for all the live coverage. We're glad you're with us on this Saturday afternoon. That's one of the new mascot for the United States World Cup '94. He hasn't got a name yet. They're about to launch a national contest to name the official mascot that will be part of all the massive merchandising that goes along with the World Cup effort in just 2 years from now. This is the first game for the United States since they tied Costa Rica 1-1 back on November 24th at Texas Stadium in Dallas. They've had a good couple of months off and a good training camp here in South Florida as well. The familiar exchange of gifts at midfield as we're set to get underway here on this tremendous soccer field. This, of course, was built primarily to house the Miami Dolphins, but it is regarded as one of the top soccer stadiums in all of the world. In recent polls conducted by soccer magazines internationally, Joe Robbie Stadium was rated as the highest rated soccer field in the United States, and again, one of the top around the globe. Here's one of the top goalkeepers around, Tony Meola, who will get the start again for the United States today. Tony last year played in 23 games, had a one-loss record of 10-7. If you work it out, his goals against average was 0.86, so that's under an average of 1 goal a game for Tony Meola. Fine season for him as everyone now is just a step closer to the World Cup in '94. We're just less than 2 years away, or 2 years and a little bit away. There's the goalkeeper for the Soviet Union who we spoke of, Dmitry Karin. And some official presentations going on at midfield as well. And we are going to have to get used to calling them the Commonwealth because it's so familiar to call them the Soviets or the Russians, and it's going to be a breaking of habits for all of us, I think. There's Aldo Buff Dinelli, former Colombian national team coach and coach at BU as well. Columbia University, I should say, and BU coach. Kicking out the ball here in Miami to start this game. And we're about to get underway. The United States will defend the goal to our left to start. They're in the blue uniforms, navy shorts and socks and white trim, and the CIS in an unfamiliar looking uniform, Matt Barr. We're used to seeing them in all red or white and red, and it's a combination of both.
Well, the Commonwealth team is going to be representing basically what used to be the Soviet Union. They'll play the same style of play, and it's a fast transition game, so watch for that.
And we're underway here at Joe Robbie Stadium as Desmond Armstrong plays it back to John Doyle. Tony Meola grabbing the ball for the United States. This will be the first meeting, obviously, between these two teams as far as the CIS is concerned, but the United States did play the Soviets a number of times, 6 as a matter of fact, and they've never beaten them. Their record 0-5-1 as the ball comes out of play on the near side. Rick Davis, you played in a number of those games against the Soviet Union over the past years as well. Does the style figure to be different with the CIS team, or is it the same type of system, do you think? Well, evidently we're having some problems with Rick down on the sideline. There's Chris Henderson for the United States as we have a free kick as an offside call was made inside the penalty area of the CIS. On the right side, this is number 4 for the Commonwealth, Sveba. As we mentioned, he is one of the more experienced of the players in the CIS lineup. Sveba played at the World Cup in Italy in 1990 for the Soviets. Ball played to the far side, kept in by the Commonwealth, and that's how we will occasionally refer to them, not to be confused with that other Commonwealth. It's a learning process for all of us as the globe has certainly changed politically in the last year. Ball out of play now, and it'll be the United States coming back in.
There's number 11, Kiryakov. Now, the book on him is he's a lefty. He's very quick and got a great move, so watch for him up front.
Throw in now for the U.S. Acosta playing it up the wing, and it went off Dominic Kinnear and out of play. Ball back at midfield now, and I think we have Rick Davis all hooked up. And Rick, we were talking about the style of this CIS team compared to the traditional Soviet style. Does it figure to differ? And we are now getting sign language signals from Rick Davis, and he says it does not differ. No, actually, we're just kidding. We're trying to work on those audio problems down in the field that we're having with Rick. And we have a ball out of play on the near side as Chris Henderson gets set to throw it back in. There's a look at Dominic Kinnear coming off his first goal for the United States in that mentioned game. Here's Mahalik in the middle now for the U.S. Shot and turned aside by Karen. And we'll get a corner kick for the United States as John Mahalik unloaded on the veteran keeper for the CIS with a left-footed blast out of midfield, and now they'll bring it back to the corner spot. And that shot by Mahalik had something on it.
Oh, it surely did, and he made a great little move to set it up because he pulled it with his right foot and kept his back to the defender and then got the shot off. Great move by Mahalik.
Now Dominic Kinnear to the corner kick spot. First good dead ball chance of the game. Into the box, and Jorge Acosta turned a little late. You saw number 6 at the far post side there, and it's cleared back out of play.
Now here comes that left-footed shot. Just a blast. He hit a good hard shot, and Harron had to stretch for it and get his fingertips on it. Knocks it over the top.
And now we get the throw in. United States still on the ball. Here's Acosta, who gets another look in this game. He did play in the game against Costa Rica back in Dallas in November. And obviously Rick Davis, who we think we have now, did well enough to get himself another look today. And we do not have Rick Davis. So until we get Rick Davis, we'll keep it up here, Matt. Rick is on the field, believe it or not. He is not stiffest down there. He is doing his best. And in the meantime, so is the CIS here to get out of their own half of the field. The United States has pressured early on here and has the best chance so far on the shot by John Mahalik. Now Dominic Kinnear trying to control it in the midfield, but it's taken away and played up to the middle. This is the Commonwealth of Independent States on the ball. And number 7, Chernyshev, the speedy forward we spoke of, getting to that ball just a little late as it came out of play. Chernyshev from the 2nd division in what was the Soviet Union, now Russia. his state, and they're giving him a good look in this game, Matt, to try and see if he's got the stuff it'll take to make the CIS national team.
They really are. He's the only player on this team in the second division. Comes from Nizhny Novgorod. That's Lower Novgorod.
That's the old Gorky area, which it was known under the Tsar's regime. Of course, all the names are referring back and changing back now in Russia to what they were before the revolution. As the ball comes out of play, I feel like this is a geopolitical lesson in addition to the description of a soccer game here, but that's kind of the territory we venture into with the CIS team. It's a period of adjustment for the international sporting community to get accustomed to this new grouping of states, all of whom now are autonomous of the formerly centrally governed Soviet Union. They're all nations of their own, and they've come together under a banner of CIS to compete as sportsmen here, and also some economic ties as well. We have another corner kick for the United States now, near side, and it's Acosta moving up to take it for the U.S. A left footer, and this will go far post. Out comes Karin, and he'll grab this. No score. We're in the first half live at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. Acosta turns for a shot, and his left footer, a half volley, goes out of play, and we'll have a goal kick for the CIS. No score here in the first half, and we'll be back with more action in a moment.
Equipment, a new line of performance.
If you spend over $20 a month on long distance, you deserve to be treated better. You deserve frequent caller awards and a special customer service number. You deserve a whole new level of special service. You deserve to be a Sprint priority customer. Is this just another clever way to get that other phone company's best customers? You bet it is.
Back at Joe Robbie Stadium, I'm Randy Hahn along with Matt Barr and Rick Davis. We're glad you're along. It's the USA in the blue against the Commonwealth of Independent States in their first ever game. Chance from the left side. Lestoff with a move in the box. His right footer is blocked by Dominic Kinnear, out of play for a throw in. And I think Rick Davis is back from the bratwurst stand here at Joe Robbie Stadium. Rick, thanks for joining us. We've got our problems worked out. Thoughts on the game so far up to this point? The United States seemingly have dominated.
Well, Randy, I think they have. I think that certainly it's a good start for them, because anytime you get into a game early on, you want to do well. There we see a little bit of a poor defensive play and playing the ball forward by the CIS team. But the United States team is still trying to establish that tempo, get the game established in a flow that's similar or conducive to the style of play that they have. And if they can manage to keep that going throughout the game, it'll certainly end up being a more positive end than what would be otherwise.
We played 7 minutes in the first half here at Joe Robbie Stadium. This is number 4, Sveba, the veteran defender. Interesting note about the defense for the CIS team. 3 of them play on the same club team, at least 3 of the back 4 defenders back in their respective countries. So it is an experienced group back there. While this is a young CIS team, the lineup averaging in age of 23.5 years old. Here's Eric Winalda, wins the ball in midfield but loses it as Lestoff, number 5, knocks it away, and he'll get it now for the CIS. Reaching out is number 14, Kuznetsov, and that'll get by him Desmond Armstrong in control. Again, the core of the World Cup team that played for the then Soviet Union in 1990 is kind of spread all around Europe, as many of them were sold off and signed with teams in places like England and Scotland and Greece, and they're applying for those club teams now, but will come together for the upcoming European Championships, which the then Soviet Union qualified for, but which the CIS is now adopting. Maybe Bora Milutinovic understands all of this. I think I've got it down, but it's very convoluted at times for everyone to understand.
One of the reasons CIS is selling these players off to other club teams is they are hard currency poor. They need to raise capital so that they can support their teams. They're no longer state supported, so all the sports teams are having to get into the new area of marketing, PR, selling season tickets.
It's a wonderful opportunity for the players as well, who, under the old regime, most of which weren't allowed to leave the then Soviet Union until they were near the end of their careers, if at all. Ball on the far side now. The Soviets, the former Soviets, the Commonwealth, with the ball on the near side. Number 3, Tadadze, playing it over to Chernyshev. Eric Winalda, who's done some good work up front already in the game, creates another turnover. Let the CIS maintain possession.
Randy, I think in the last year they've sold over 100 of their players. In just 1 year alone, they've sold about 100 players around the world to various teams to raise that hard currency.
That'll deplete your first division, there's no doubt about that. Quinn losing the battle in the midfield. Back come the Commonwealth. Piatnitsky tried to send it back for Chernyshev. That went off Kinnear out.
Well, this last week, both teams have been working through some really vigorous workouts, and they might be still recovering from that because they're both trying to get in shape, and it doesn't seem like the Commonwealth team has their synchronicity yet.
Kinnear, the nice steal. Now Winalda lays it off to Henderson. There's no score. We're live in the first half here at Joe Robbie Stadium. Back to Balboa, and the crowd doesn't appreciate that rather safe play back to Marcelo. Fernando Clavillo on the far side of the field defensively for the United States. Tracked down by the forward Sergeyev, number 9. And now cleared all the way back, and this will go out of play, and the CIS will get a throw in. That's number 9, Oleg Sergeyev, playing in his first game internationally, as are many of these young players, and for many of them their first trip to the United States. In fact, only 2 of the players on the CIS team had ever been in the United States before, so it's a number of experiences for them all happening simultaneously. Corner kick now for the Commonwealth. The short corner played to Mandreka. Now back in front on the cross. Desmond Armstrong gets up to head this back out for another corner for the CIS.
Not only that, there was one man uncovered in the middle of the box also, and the defense is trying to organize in there a little bit. Now, one of the things they do in this dead ball situation is they'll leave somebody hanging on the far post and run the other guys forward as decoys.
This one headed out by John Boyle, and this will come all the way back into midfield. Piatnitsky pushing it up, and he looked to release it forward there, but he was cognizant of the offside as well, as we get another look at that corner kick opportunity a moment ago.
You want to close down the short corner quick so that you don't have that short little pass where you're putting the defender in an awkward situation, and that's exactly what happened there.
Now the throw in by the Commonwealth. The United States with the early intensity and pressure here in the game, first 5 minutes or so. But the CIS has settled their game somewhat, and it put some pressure on themselves. But now another turnover. Henderson got it to Winalda. Eric still battling for it. Winalda's been in the middle of a lot of things, Rick. I'm sure you've seen it from down there. He's really creating some pressure for some of those CIS defenders.
Well, it looks like we're still intermittent with Rick, and we'll get to him when we get a chance.
Now it's Sveba back through the middle for Kuznetsov. No score between the USA and the CIS. Piatnitsky back for Kuznetsov. He'll push it to the right wing side. Long cross into the penalty area, and Miola gets up at the edge of the 6-yard box and brings that down, and a good thing too. Nice throw by Tony. Works it wide to the right side for Chris Henderson. Henderson, nice stop-up move to get away from Chernyshev. Nice drop pass for Quinn. Creative stuff by the USA, but a good block there by Chernyshev as he read Quinn's pass.
And that was all started by Tony Miola. He distributed the ball quickly as soon as he got the cross and sent it up to Henderson, who was able to make something happen.
Quinn rather lazily throwing that back down, and again, Chernyshev, after just blocking his pass, gets a foot on Bryan's throw as well, and Quinn will be upset with his restart there, so Kinnear will throw in from the near side. Edge of the box for Winalda, who was all tied up by Chernyshev, number 2, and we should point out there's a number 2 Chernyshev and number 7 Chernyshev. And the names may sound different, but they are different people. There's Dominic Kinnear. 9 World Series of Soccer games, and we mentioned the 1 goal coming against Costa Rica back on November 24th at Texas Stadium. Unofficially, 30.5 minutes left in the first half here at Joe Robbie Stadium. And no score. This is Chernyshov. Piatnitsky playing it up the wing. That was way over the head of Chernyshov, who kind of watched it go over and then had it come off Henderson. Chernyshov, 23 years old and fairly representative of the age of most of these CIS players.
They're a young team, but extremely experienced. I mean, most of these guys have some sort of European championship under their belt, so it's not like they're young and inexperienced. Maybe they don't have as much international experience as the U.S. side does, but they are very experienced players.
And many of them are well-traveled, and we must remember that under the old Soviet regime, the athletes of this nature were the favored in the population, so they've had a chance to travel quite a bit abroad, at least within Europe, and play in various championships, and I'm sure are not too particularly awed by this journey to the United States, which for many of them, as we said, is their first. Ball back through the middle. Balboa with the run out of the back. A little late getting there, but it comes free to Clavillo. Fernando pushing it ahead to the left side, cleared to the front for Acosta by Mahalik, but that's kicked right back out again for a throw in USA. And Fernando Clavillo, who splits time with the national team and the St. Louis Storm of the Major Soccer League with the throw in. That's over the head of the intended receiver, Winalda. Back to midfield now, and Quinn with his customary ball-winning work, but then a poor pass again as Quinn seems to be off his game just a little bit here in the first half. Cross back through the middle. Great opportunity for Sergeyev, but he couldn't get up high enough to bring in the pass from Kiryakov. And an opportunity goes by the wayside for the CIS.
Kiryakov took the ball to the line, sent it in, and again, you don't want to give opportunities up like that because Sergeyev was right in the middle waiting for it, just couldn't get all his head on it.
The service on the pass a little bit off the mark as we saw it drift over the head of the forward. Here's Dominic Kinnear now breaking out of the midfield for the USA in the blue. Winalda was thinking kind of give and go there with either Kinnear or Mahalik on that far side, but it was out of play on the pass, and it'll come back goal kick for the CIS. This is number 5, Lestov. Taradze with it. Back through the middle on the give and go, Piatnitsky. And he'll play a ball into open space, quickly closed by John Doyle. And we will get the foul against the Commonwealth player there as well, as the USA will come up with the free kick. Quickly played to Kinnear. Dominic looking wide right side for Henderson. Kinnear works it up the right side for Desmond Armstrong, and that'll come out of play over the near side, and the CIS gets it right back in, right in front of you, Rick Davis. Are you with us?
Yes, I am, Randy.
All right, you're back.
Yeah, actually, I thought you guys were doing the same trick to me that my wife periodically does. That is, I like to see you, but I don't like to hear you. It's actually starting to shape up a little bit here, being down close to the United States team's bench. You can feel and see the agitation level of the American team coach, Bora Milutinovic. He's not happy with the performance of the players thus far. He's wanting them to transitionally try and counter and attack more quickly, and in turn he's a little concerned about some of the passes, as that one was of being a little on the lackadaisical side.
Also, some of the distribution we saw earlier by Quinn on a free kick and a throw-in, both intercepted up there by Chernyshov.
Yeah, it's actually, unfortunately, a case of a number of circumstances. You've got to remember with the United States team that they're really just coming back together after being off for quite some time. The last game that they played was against Costa Rica in November. So it's been some time since they played, and you have to expect them to be a little rusty.
This is Kiryakov for the CIS, plays it back through the middle. Piatnitsky turns for a shot after he initially tried to settle it for the drive, and that'll go out of play, and a goal kick for the USA. No score here in Miami. We'll be back on Sports Channel.
It happens every morning in London, Paris, Zurich, and Brussels. In Glasgow, Stockholm, Frankfurt, and Milan, as the new day arrives, so do we. American Airlines, with more non-stops to Europe from across the U.S. than any other airline. American Airlines, something special to Europe.
Adidas equipment, a new line of performance footwear.
Welcome back live to Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. Randy Hahn along with Matt Barr and Rick Davis. No score between the USA and the Commonwealth of Independent States in their first journey outside of what used to be the Soviet Union, playing under their new banner. In our pregame activities here that you did not witness, they played the old Soviet anthem, and they are playing under the old Soviet flag here today. That's because nobody's come up with a CIS anthem or flag yet, but you can bet somebody's working on it, and if they're not, maybe after hearing this they will be. Ball comes out of play and we'll have a throw in after it's retrieved out of the moat that surrounds the field somewhat here. There's the familiar hammer and sickle flying here at Joe Robbie, but it's unlikely we'll see that fly again after they do come up with a flag representative of the CIS. Ball out off of Kinnear now, and we have a throw in. Now time for our Adidas trivia question. Who won the Adidas Golden Ball for the best player in the first FIFA Women's World Championship? I'm sorry, which U.S. president was captain of his college soccer team? That's a little mix-up there. We had conflicting questions. Which U.S. president was captain of his college soccer team? We'll have the answer for you in a moment. Back to midfield now. We have a foul and a free kick. This is Kuznetsov playing it wide to the right side. Taken on the far wing by Mandreko. Now the square pass to Taradze. Here's Chernishev, the speedy second division forward. He's really getting an opportunity to show his stuff here by Anatoly Baishovitz, the head coach of the CIS team. He wants to see what this kid that they've been hearing so much about is made of. They're very excited about him and the speed that he represents. And of course, speed isn't everything, but if he can put it together with all the other assets necessary to play soccer at this level, it can be quite a weapon. Ball played all the way through, and Winalda felt he'd been fouled and looks for the call from one of the officials here, but doesn't get it as play continues. Played out to the penalty area now. A chance from the left side. Shot knocked down by Miola as Kuznetsov had to deal with a tough ball there, and a defender coming across did well to get that on target.
He really did, and Miola showed why he is arguably the best reaction goalkeeper in the world, because here is a shot in tight right there. Miola just reacts, knocks it out for a corner.
They play the short corner. It comes to the edge of the box. Back to Chernishev, and he'll play it out the far side for Sveva. And he has a shot that goes out, and will get a corner kick now here, it seems, for the CIS. Well, here's the answer to the trivia quiz, the Adidas trivia quiz. President George Bush is the captain of the soccer team at Yale University. By the way, the other question that we started, who won the Golden Ball at the Women's World Championship as the best player? Karen Jennings of the USA. On the corner kick now, comes back into the penalty area, out again to Chernishev. He tried to push it, but that time John Doyle, using a little speed of his own, cut in front. Henderson after it, but it is tackled out of play by Pianitsky. No score here in the first half. Good crowd on hand here at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami as they start the wave. This almost certainly figures to be a site for the World Cup in 1994. It potentially could be the site of the final, considering the size and the configuration here, which is so wonderful for soccer. A foul now called against Armstrong on the near side, and we'll get the free kick as Kiriakov sets up. He's not hard to spot with that red hair. There's some of the gathered here in South Florida enjoying the international soccer, as we hope you are this afternoon here on Sports Channel. Kiriak off the bending cross, and a nice idea too as Mandraka came running off the front of the 18-yard box as that was bent toward net. Viola now talking to Balboa and his defense as the wave goes around JRS.
You're right, Rick, and one of the reasons they're doing that is because of the last game that they played. The Commonwealth team tried to loop that ball in behind the defense, and they did that so well that the U.S. had to come up with a way to defense that, and they're trying the offside trap.
CIS with possession in the white. Ball flicked to the right edge. Turn around. Nice play by Sergeyev to get control of that, but Covio an equally sound job of defensing it, and now we have the ball out on the far side, and it's going to be the CIS on the throw in as Fernando Covio had his hands full with number 9, Oleg Sergeyev. There's Sergeyev there. Kiriakov in traffic, and he'll turn it over to Jorge Acosta for the USA. Acosta through the middle for Henderson. He lets this go. The support isn't quite there on the wing, however, as Kinnear and Balboa both a little late to get to it.
Now you can hear Bora in the background there shouting out to his team. One of the things he talked about at the recent soccer convention was the U.S.'s transition game by attacking more quickly. Last year we saw them build with controlling the ball, moving it around side to side, and then probing. Hold the ball and probe, hold the ball and probe. At the convention, he said, not only do we want to do that, but we want to pick up the pace. We want to keep going faster and faster.
Matt referring to the recent coaches convention
in Pittsburgh,
where all the top and really secondary coaches of all levels gathered to discuss the game of soccer and the progress of the sport in this country, which has made tremendous strides in the past couple of years. The women's national championship team, case in point, and world championship team, and also this men's World Cup team coming off their best year ever. Last year they were 11-9-6 in 26 games, a winning record, and had some very impressive results. I think the most impressive of which would be, gentlemen, the CONCACAF Gold Cup final win over Mexico by a score of 2-0. A win over a team that generally dominated the region the United States plays in, and that defeat over Mexico really opened the eyes of a lot around the world.
You're right there, Randy, because it really opened some eyes. That was the first major championship won by any U.S. team, and it was obviously an important game because right afterwards, the Mexican coach resigned, and there was a great upheaval in the Mexican Soccer Federation.
Ball laid off to the right side by Karin. And the USA chant comes up here as the fans have seen some aggressive play by the United States. As Acosta takes it away, back through for Henderson. He had to reach out to bring it in. Cuts it back, front of the box, but nobody there. And the Commonwealth will bring it back out to midfield. Ball played around Desmond Armstrong nicely as well by number 8, Piatnitsky, who showed a flash of speed there. Quinn will lay it back off the left side of midfield. No score here at Joe Robbie Stadium. Unofficially 16.5 minutes left to go in the first half of play in the first of 2 games between these two teams. They'll play again in a week. Acosta crossing, but way past Henderson. Nobody else supporting on the near side. And this will easily be taken back by the CIS, and that, Rick, seemed like a real offensive breakdown up front there.
Randy, that's exactly what you expect to have happen in this type of situation. Individually, technically, the players are relatively comfortable in their abilities to perform the skills of the game. At the same time, because it's so early on in their season, they aren't meshing as a team. And what we find happening is that when normally players would be making runs off of one another, on that particular play, there was only one player, Eric Winalda, without the pass being right on the money, it finds a bunch of empty space and ends up turned over to the CIS team.
Quinn with the drop pass to Mahalik, tried to send it up for Acosta, and that will go out over the far side for USA ball coming back. John Mahalik getting a start here today, due in part to the absence of Hugo Perez, the male soccer player of the year, as deemed so by United States Soccer for 1991. Hugo led the USA team in assists in 1991 and was clearly the most creative of the midfielders. Was in large part responsible for much of their success in the midfield throughout the year, and he is still recovering from leg surgery, but should be back soon.
Well, he looked pretty good in practice today. He's almost recovered from that surgery, and the reason he had the surgery was to try to stabilize that right leg of his.
Now the throw in, USA. Chris Henderson looks in the box for Quinn, but threw it way over his head. And the timing continues to be off just a little bit by everyone here. Povillo digs in for a block, comes out, and stepping over is Sergeyev, and he'll drop it and leave it for a teammate. Looks like Chernyshев coming over to take it.
Randy, on the athletic field, the two countries as a whole, that referring back to what the CIS was before, the Soviet Union and American teams, not a lot of love's lost there. They're two teams that compete very hard. You look at that tackle in a game here which has been dubbed a friendly. Fernando taking no prisoners there. That was a crunching tackle, and I think that's a lot of the tone that this game's going to take on later on.
And also next week, game 2 of this two-game series, if you will, within the World Series of Soccer, will be next Sunday at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. And we'll have that here on Sports Channel as well, live at 2 o'clock Eastern. Check your local listings. We have a ball out of play, and we're going to take a break here with 14 minutes left to go in the first half. No score in Miami.
Most guys kick back on the weekends. Jack, on the other hand, good. So how do you feel?
Ready to rock and roll.
Only one beer has the taste as genuine as the people who drink it. Budweiser.
Tomorrow,
we're sleeping in.
I have a confession. I have no idea how to choose a long-distance calling plan. I don't have to. Sprint does it for me. They keep track of when and where I call and actually let me know which calling plan will save me the most money. They do all that just because I'm a Sprint Priority customer. And I thought it was because I was their spokesperson.
At Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, the USA in blue against the Commonwealth of Independent States in their first venture outside their new Commonwealth. Here's Desmond Armstrong for the USA to Chris Henderson. It's been an active first half for both these teams, both coming off layoffs. Here's Dominic Kinnear. Nice move in the middle. Now the field spreads. He looks right for Henderson, pass a little behind him. Chris doing the best he can with it, and it's headed out. Kinnear will try and set it up again, back to Quinn. This is Fernando Povillo, the native Uruguayan, in the middle to Winalda, and off his head out of play for a goal kick. And we will take another pause here in Miami. No score between the USA and the CIS on Sports Channel.
The times I can't forget. Hero who's my friend. I know that it's forever. The real thing. Talking about the real thing. Oh, you know it when you see it. Know it when you feel it. Know it when you drink it. Coca-Cola Classic. Can't beat the real thing.
Can't Get enough of America's first World Cup? You will in Soccer America. How about our national team and the Olympics? Soccer America delivers.
I've been reading Soccer America ever since I went head-to-head against Pelé back in the 70s. I like Soccer America because it profiles personalities. It reports on the pro, college, women's, and international scenes, and focuses on the very pulse of soccer in America.
Call toll-free to learn more about Soccer America, the USA's only national soccer weekly. 18 issues, just $19.94. Call 1-800-453-6500 now.
The Commonwealth with the ball and a chance in the area, and the shot deflects over the net. And a great scoring opportunity for Kiryakov of the CIS as it deflected over the bar. And that's been the best scoring opportunity for both teams.
Well, Sergeyev sets this up by just splitting the pass over there. You see it right there, and then Kiryakov just nails one that goes over the top. Miola, fortunately, wasn't tested on that one because he didn't get a hand on it.
I'm wondering if the defender coming across just may have touched that enough to deflect it. Hard to tell from that replay. But nonetheless, a great opportunity for the CIS. We are still scoreless in the first half, as you see. Down to about 10 minutes left unofficially in the first half here at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. First game of 1992 for the USA. Coming off a great 1991 year that ended with a tie against Costa Rica, but that featured many great results. We talked about that win over Mexico. How about their win over Uruguay? That was a big victory in Denver. The ties against Ireland, AC Milan, Juventus. It really was a year that was filled with many wonderful performances by the USA team. But as things go, more is expected of them this year, and that would begin with this two-game series against the CIS, one would think.
Absolutely. More is expected, and we said this before, Murray and Perez are not on the field right now, and those two players were big parts of the U.S. offense. They accounted for almost half the goals and about a third of the assists in this World Series of soccer. And when you lose that offensive power, it's noticed.
Bruce Murray scored 7 goals in 24 games for the USA in 1991. Perez played in 16 games, considerably fewer due to injury. He had 5 assists. And as you say, Matt, obviously both key offensive contributors for the U.S. and both out today, Perez with the injury and Murray serving the red card suspension. Ball out now, far side, and we will have a throw-in coming back for the Commonwealth of Independent States. I would also think, too, Rick, that Bora Milutinovic and assistant coach Timo Liakowski are interested to see this team without those two and how the people who step in react.
Absolutely, Randy. I think whenever you're a coach, you're always looking for different possibilities that might occur throughout the course of your development and ultimate selection for players to be a part of the team. You take Hugo out of there, you take Bruce out of there, and then you get a chance to see who might be their hires, who might be able to replace them in the event that one of them were to be lost in a competition due to injury or suspension.
Quinn had it for a moment, lost it again, and the CIS starting to come on here as we approach the latter stages of the first half. The left foot shot from long distance by Mandrika goes out of play for a goal kick.
Now this is the result of passing the ball around maybe about 6-7 times, 6-7 connections on passes right at the top of the box. And without question, you want to get a shot off after a situation like that.
Miola.
Unfortunately, the shot was high.
Murray, or Doyle rather, playing it back for Tony. Miola played here in the South Florida area this past season in the American Soccer League. The APSL, actually, the American Professional Soccer League with the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. In fact, South Florida has a rich soccer tradition, as does the Robbie family, benefactors of this outstanding facility as it goes out for CIS throw-in. And you look at Desmond Armstrong, Joe Robbie, the late Joe Robbie, who built this stadium with private funds, which says something in itself, owned the Fort Lauderdale Strikers when they were in the North American Soccer League, then took the franchise up to Minnesota where they became the Strikers there, and was really one of the pioneers in soccer professionally in the United States, and now as a legacy has left this tremendous stadium, not only for professional football and the Dolphins, which he owns, but also for World Cup soccer in 1994.
You're right there, Randy. It is a great sporting facility, and it's a great field to play on.
Kinnear sliding into the tackle at center, and now Chernyshev hits it off Desmond Armstrong out of play as we're getting ready to head to the Motor City. Detroit, actually just outside Detroit, the Silver Dome in Pontiac, Michigan. And we'll be live there next Sunday, a week from tomorrow, February 2nd, as the USA plays the CIS in round 2. That's live at 2 Eastern. And check your local cable listings for the time in your area. Dmitry Karin, 24 years of age, plays for Suska, CSKA in Moscow, one of the top club teams there. He was in net for the 4-2 win over the United States in the Olympics in Seoul, South Korea back in 1988. Took them all the way to the gold medal, and he is certainly a goalkeeper of the future for the CIS team. Here's Kinnear for the United States. Dominic pushing it up, look for Henderson, not enough on it. Stolen by Chernyshev. Now played back up for Piatniski. Back for Chernyshev. The speedy forward cuts it back through the middle, off the side of the foot of Sergeyev, and that's easily handled by Miola.
Well, that's an example of the transition game that we were talking about for the Commonwealth team. They steal the ball and immediately they attack. This is what they're trying to do, but as Rick mentioned earlier, they are rusty. The passes already have been just off. They don't seem to have sync yet, although that was a good flurry right there.
Here's Piatniski back the other way again. We're in the first half, down to the last 5 minutes unofficially here in the opening 45-minute frame. No score. Both teams with a number of good opportunities. John Mahalik with the best chance for the U.S. early on a direct shot from the left side. And the Commonwealth have had a couple of good chances, a couple of which have come in the past 10 minutes or so. Cross parallel with the front of the 18-yard box, off the head of Henderson. Chernyshev will chase it, but he'll give up on it, realizing it's CIS ball coming back on the throw-in. Drops it down quickly to Kuznetsov. Balboa. The Commonwealth trying to clear it back in. Mahalik gets a piece of it. Now they play it wide again for Chernyshev. And he had Armstrong draped all over him there, and we'll wait for the indication. It is throw-in USA. Quinn way out to center. Acosta went up for it. It was won by the defender back there. It comes down to Winalda. Eric is tripped up. He probably would have appreciated, Rick, the advantage there rather than the whistle.
Oh, absolutely. He wanted to keep going there. As it was, the referee blew the ball dead fairly quickly thereafter, but as a player, that can be a little bit frustrating. You got a little bit of time and space in front of you, and your instincts say go.
But a good free kick opportunity nonetheless. It comes from about 35 yards out, so the USA will set up near the front of the 18-yard box as Acosta steps into this one. Knocked out by Kuznetsov. A race to the far side. Mahalik is there. Kinnear will knock it back toward his own end. Here's Desmond Armstrong. Taken nicely by Henderson. Henderson showing for a moment some good one-on-one skills, and then the ball deflected away by Chernyshev.
Henderson's the only player on the field doing double duty right now. He plays for both the Olympic team and the national team.
He just returned from Brazil, where the Olympic team was defeated 3-0 by the Brazilian team. USA preparing for the Summer Olympic Games in Seoul, South Korea, or Barcelona rather. Got Korea on the mind from '88. They have not officially qualified yet, but are in the process, the final process of doing so.
That's
we
right.
hope.
Yeah, true. Henderson will be playing with the national team for the next couple games, but when the qualifying matches occur for the Barcelona Olympics, he will most certainly join that team.
Here's Quinn. Back to Armstrong. They work it right to left now to Balboa at center. Back to Quinn on the right side. Finds Winalda at the edge of the box. Will go off Karadze out for a corner kick USA. And the clock has run down to 0 here at Joe Robbie, meaning we're under 2 minutes unofficially in the first half. And nobody hurrying to get that ball over to Jorge Acosta. A few shouts from the bench hurried them up. Now Acosta sets it down on the corner spot. Good opportunity late in the first half here for the U.S. into the box, knocked down by Karin, and he'll smother the rebound. Clavio was there, but Karin was able to hold it. And he wants everybody upfield. Get out of here. Out of my way. There's Fernando. As we mentioned, is one of the players doing double duty indoors and outdoors in the major soccer league. Another one of those is Jeff Agus, who was scheduled to be here for the USA, but had a commitment with his indoor team, the Dallas Sidekicks, and was unable to be here. Some of these players are on permanent contracts with the United States team. Others are under contract to indoor teams and are loaned to the national team. And it's really up to the club they're under contract to as to whether or not they are loaned. And in this case, Agus was not made available. It's a little bit of a political hot potato at times, especially when coaches want players. And in this case, I'm sure Bora Milutinovic would like to have the full complement available, but the reality of it is that it's important for players such as Agus to also have another place to play.
Randy, to expand on the thought a little bit, the problem is that the indoor season runs during the winter, which is typically a good time for the United States national team to stage exhibitions with the inactivity of other countries as a part of their regular season. So what happens is that they want all the players, Bora wants all the players he can get. Indoor teams are right in the thick of their season, and it's I'm sure if I were coaching, I wouldn't want to be letting my best players go when I had games coming up and I needed them to play.
Chernishev, a nice run to the edge of the box as we're late in the first half here, awaiting the whistle from the referee at any moment. Pushed forward again by the CIS. Piatnitsky after it, and this will be called a handball against Kinnear, who tries some delaying tactics there as the Commonwealth would like to get off a quick free kick here before time runs out. Now they get the assurance from the referee that the required 10 yards will be given. Our referee is Raul Dominguez. He is from here in Fort Lauderdale. And he's moving everyone right to the front of the 18-yard box as you get a good look from up high behind the USA net. Now here's the free kick. Piatnitsky, and he'll push this one off the right foot way wide and out of play for a goal kick USA.
Randy, I hadn't seen that type of a tactic on a free kick in a long time. Typically, the defensive team sets up a wall to keep the goalkeeper from having to cover the entire goal. Here, the the CIS players form a little mini wall on their own to screen what potentially would have been the only angle Tony Meola would have had to see the ball. As it was, the shot wasn't on the target anyway, but a little bit of a unique tactic there.
Meola now on the goal kick. And there's the whistle, and we are at the end of the first half here at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. A half that goes by without a goal scored. A number of opportunities for both teams. So at the end of 45 minutes, it's the United States nothing and the Commonwealth of Independent States nothing in their first ever game. You're watching the World Series of Soccer on Sports Channel.
Larry Bird was born to be a champion. He was destined for glory in the game he loved. Unbelievable! Call this toll-free number now and get bird watching at its best in this amazing video, Larry Bird, a basketball legend. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated, the best way to capture all the drama of sports. Through rare footage, you'll follow Larry from the basketball courts of Indiana to the hallowed halls of the Boston Garden. Anderson, be there when the championships are won. Share the glory, live the moments. Be there for the hard-fought and emotional duels with Larry's longtime friend and rival, Magic Johnson. Call now to subscribe or renew. Get your free video and 54 issues of SI, including the swimsuit issue for only $1.29 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Don't miss this heartwarming tale of a boy who lived his dreams. It's the story of a legend. The legend lives in Sports Illustrated. Call now.
1957, the year Chevrolet introduced one of the most popular cars of all time, the 57 Chevy. Now, anyone who admires this great American classic won't want to be without the 1957 Chevrolet telephone, the perfect addition to any car lover's home or office. The 57 Chevy phone is a stunning replica of the original and a fully working telephone. It includes an option for tone or pulse, a last number redial, a non-slip tire base, it's hearing aid compatible, and comes with a ringer on-off switch. Plus, the horn honks and the headlights flash when someone calls. The 57 57 Chevy phone is FCC approved and guaranteed for 1 full year. The 57 Chevy phone is a perfect gift for anyone who appreciates the dazzling style of this legendary car, or for anyone who wants to own a real car phone. Order one now.
The classic 57 Chevy phone is only $39.95. To order using your credit card, call 1-800-841-0300. This is an authentic replica phone authorized and licensed by the Chevrolet division of General Motors. Order yours now in red, baby blue, or classic black. Call 1-800-841-0300. No CODs, please.
It's halftime here at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. The United States and the Commonwealth of Independent States in a scoreless tie. Today's game is presented by American Airlines, the airline that is proud to be selected the official carrier of the United States World Cup team. American Airlines, something special in the air. Also brought to you by Adidas Equipment, the best of Adidas. Everything that is essential and nothing that is not. And by Sprint. Sprint has a better way for all your telecommunication needs. Randy Hahn and Matt Barr back live with you up in the booth here at Joe Robbie. And Matt, somewhat as we expected, first half that lacked a little bit of rhythm.
It certainly did. The heart was there, the physical conditioning was there, but the passes were off. They were rusty, and it showed. They just weren't making crisp passes, and they were putting up a lot of bad passes that put their defense in trouble.
Well, when we come back, we're going to see a team with a lot of rhythm. We're going to look back and reflect on the amazing Women's World Championship by the United States this past November in China. Back in Miami with that in a moment.
It happens every morning in London, Paris, and Madrid. In Munich, Manchester, Zurich, and Brussels. In Glasgow, Stockholm, Frankfurt, and Milan. As the new day arrives, so do we. American Airlines, with more non-stops to Europe from across the U.S. than any other airline. American Airlines, something special to Europe.
Adidas Equipment, a new line of performance footwear.
It was just another Saturday afternoon until those old guys came out of the woods with axes. Just when they thought it couldn't get any weirder, it did. They even brought their own music.
Awesome! Hey, fellas, how about a cold bud?
A bud? Obviously, we thought alike.
Oh, that's cold.
Can't get enough of America's first World Cup? You will in Soccer America. How about our national team and the Olympics? Soccer America delivers.
I've been reading Soccer America ever since I went head-to-head against Pelé back in the 70s. I like Soccer America because it profiles personalities. It reports on the pro, college, women's, and international scenes, and focuses on the very pulse of soccer in America.
Call toll-free to learn more about Soccer America, the USA's only national soccer weekly. 18 issues, just $19.94. Call 1-800-453-6500 now.
Welcome back to Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. It's halftime between the United States and the Commonwealth of Independent States. 1991 was a tremendous year for American soccer. The men's team had their best year ever. Our men's Olympic team continued their successful preparation for the upcoming Summer Games in Barcelona, but nobody outperformed our women. The United States won the first ever FIFA World Women's Championship of Soccer in China. This past Thursday, they were officially recognized for that accomplishment at none other than the White House. President Bush welcoming the Women's World Championship winning team. April Heinrichs playing a little head tennis with President Bush. It truly was a finale to a great performance by our women, who are #1 in the world. Let's reflect back on their tremendous accomplishments in China.
Jennings to the middle. Her shot. She scores! Karen Jennings! King. Here's April Heinrich. One-on-one, going left side, the shot. She scores! Stahl avoids one tackle attempt. Her shot, she scores! She scores! Hamilton crosses in front, fisted out of there by Hall. Rebound, Stahl, she scores! The goal! Michelle Akers-Stahl! 5 goals on the evening.
Unbelievable.
Here's a chance for Karen Jennings. Jennings with the loose ball in the penalty area. In on goal, she scores! Mia working right along the sideline, gets it to Karen Jennings. Here's Jennings, she has Akers-Stahl with it. Karen shot, and scores! Bitches. Knock, a chance for Jennings. She's got 2. Here's Karen in on goal. Scores! Here comes the corner kick for Germany. The United States leading 3-0. They play atop of the box. Now to the far post side. A shot cleared in front. They score! Weigman, and it is 3-1. Nice ball ahead for Karen Jennings. Jennings in on goal. Shoots, and it's blocked. Rebound, Jennings again, cutting it back, looking far post. They score! They trail by a bunch, but here's Foss. Foss clearing it back over to the other side. Out comes Harvey, they score!
He's leaving all of his players out there.
Julie Foudy back to the middle. Heinrich scores!
Our ambition was to get here. Our ambition actually isn't finished yet. Our ambition is to win this thing. So, frankly, we'll be disappointed if we don't come out the winner. So, yes, we're happy to be here, but being here is not enough. We've got an aggressive group of personalities, and they're going to go after it.
Shannon Higgins looking for Akers-Stahl in the box. She gets up and scores!
Superiority in both ends of the field. The United States team has in the offensive third. Norway has it in their offensive third. There we get to see Michelle Akers-Stahl show why she is so dangerous.
Fairly veteran Norwegian squad, as is the United States team. The long free kick and into the area, and a goal! It's off the post and in, and we are tied.
Here we get to see the free kick simply launched high in the air. Plenty of time for players defensively, as well as the goalkeeper to come out and get it. She comes out, but then stops.
Now Higgins looks for Akers-Stahl. Michelle with a brave run upfield. Here's Akers-Stahl with a chance. Open net. She scores! Michelle Akers-Stahl may have just won a world championship for the United States. And look at that bench. They sense it. That may be enough.
I was just waiting for our break. I knew we were going to get a goal because I knew our team is so gutsy that we weren't going to give up. So I had no doubt.
We offer our congratulations to the American women. What they single-handedly did for credibility of American soccer internationally can't be easily measured. We'll have highlights of the first half of this game when we come back. You're watching the World Series of Soccer on Sports Channel.
When you plan to ski Squaw Valley, plan to stay at Squaw Valley Inn. Perfectly situated just a few feet from the tram, you'll stay in a beautifully appointed guest room or suite. Squaw Valley Inn was designed for a pre-ski with a lap pool, hot spas, 2 terrific restaurants, and a festive happy hour. Ski Squaw and ski more runs when you stay at Squaw Valley Inn. The parking lot, ski rack, and bumper-to-bumper traffic will be a distant memory. Call 1-800-323-ROOM for reservations.
Make this the winter you learn to ski better with tips and techniques from ski's top teaching pros. Found in this all-new Ski Better Now video, yours free. Call this toll-free number today, and Ski Magazine will send you this video free with your paid subscription of only $11.94. Enjoy a full season of Ski Magazine, America's top-rated magazine for skiers. Beginner or expert, reach new levels of ability. Call today to get Ski Magazine, plus your free video, and Ski Better Now.
Play a guessing game. Which brands did Consumer Reports rate the best? General Electric, Maytag, or Whirlpool? Isuzu Rodeo or Jeep Cherokee? Zenith, Sony, or RCA? Guessing games are fun, but when you really need to know the brands to buy, you don't want to play games. You want facts. And that's what you'll get when you call for your free trial issue of Consumer Reports.
Every month, Consumer Reports tests and rates products by brand name. Gives you all the pros and cons, including the price we paid. Call for your free trial issue now. If you like it, you'll get 11 more issues, including our famous auto issue and the 1993 buying guide issue, all for just $22. Or write cancel on the bill and owe nothing. You'll also get our current 1992 buying guide issue and the new medicine show absolutely free.
So join the more than 5 million Consumer Reports subscribers who never play guessing games when they shop. Call for your free trial issue now.
Call 1-800-841-0300.
Welcome back to Miami. It's halftime between the United States and the Commonwealth of Independent States. Time now for the Budweiser Halftime Report, brought to you by the King of Beers. Nothing beats a Bud. Randy Hahn along with Matt Barr back upstairs here at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. A first half that featured no goals, but a number of opportunities. Tony Miola coming up with a save early.
Yeah, here Tony shows why he's a good reaction keeper, because it's not a difficult save, but he has to react immediately to it or it's going in.
The Commonwealth of Independent States coming on a little bit stronger after an early portion dominated by the United States. One of their scoring opportunities here in the first half is number 8 for the CIS. Piatnitsky with the ball at the edge of the penalty area, playing it back in on a give and go that wound up this way.
Again, now he hits this over the net. We couldn't tell whether it was deflected by anybody, but it was a good scoring opportunity for the Commonwealth.
United States with a couple of opportunities in the opening 45 minutes of play. Eric Winalda did a lot of hard work up front, and this was one opportunity to materialize for him.
Well, this is what shows a good forward, winning the ball up in the air and then putting it on target. Now, this was, of course, wide, but that's what Eric has to come up with, winning that ball in the air.
And this has been the Budweiser Halftime Report, brought to you by the King of Beers. Nothing beats a Bud. And the players making their way back out onto the field now. There are the CIS players in their primarily white uniforms coming out for the second half here at Joe Robbie in Miami. There's a look at Timo Liakoski, assistant coach for the USA. I'm sure an interesting conversation at halftime in the USA dressing room between Bora Milutinovic, the head coach of the USA, and his players. Rick Davis with us as well tonight, working down on the field. Rick, what kind of things do you think Bora and the coaching staff were talking about with the players at the half?
Well, Randy, if his mannerisms say much about what it was he was going to say to the players, he left the field a couple minutes before the game actually finished at halftime. I think he's a little bit disappointed in the way that they're playing, in the context that they're playing with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy, certainly a lot of individual work, as Matt mentioned before, but not enough as a team, not enough linking one another and making good, solid, quick transitional plays.
Here's a look at our referee again, and he is Raul Dominguez from Fort Lauderdale. The linesmen this evening are Joe Michna from Hollywood, Florida, and Bob Heilman from Bradenton, Florida. So an all-Floridian officiating crew, and a lot of people on hand here from the South Florida area. This game was really supported well by Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties, all kind of rallying around this game here and supporting this as a World Cup site. And I think, gentlemen, you'll both agree with me that this would be a wonderful World Cup venue, and quite possibly it would be in line for, if not the final, a semifinal game.
You're right there, Randy. This is a wonderful place to play. It's such a big field and a good atmosphere because there's really not a bad seat in the house.
And there's, we're only guessing, approximately between 20 and 25,000 on hand here tonight. They had talked going into the game about a pre-sale of over 20,000 tickets for this game here. And we are underway now with the second half as the United States in the blue defends the goal to our right and attacks right to left. But right now it's the Commonwealth of Independent States on the ball. Number 6 on this side, Mandreka, playing it over to Sveva. Taken in the air by Henderson and knocked back down to the middle for John Doyle. Here's Fernando Clavillo to center. And he'll play it up from Mahalik. Acosta also in the vicinity, but taken away by Tadadze. Mandreka back through the middle, crossed by Lestov over to the far side. This is Chernyshev. They'll quickly play it up for number 15, Leniakov. And that'll roll out. And we'll wait for an indication, and it will be goal kick for Tony Neola as it touched the CIS player last. Here's Brian Quinn now for the United States. Trying to pick out if there have been any substitutions for the USA, and at this point, maybe one on the far side there. Is that Bruce Murray?
No, Randy, actually Bruce Savage.
Bruce Savage, I should say.
You got your Bruces right,
yeah.
But Savage is the one that came in. He was actually warming up right at the end of the first half. Bora, being the proverbial teacher, was talking to him, obviously with the intent of bringing him into the game, and he in fact did that at halftime.
So Savage comes into the lineup for Desmond Armstrong, and that appears to be the only change that Milutinovic has made coming into the second half. Now it's Brian Quinn with the ball for the USA. Bruce Murray is out of the game if he joined us late. He was red carded in the USA's last game prior to this back in November, and under rules, a red card in addition to an immediate ejection also results in a one-game suspension, and Murray is serving that tonight.
The Commonwealth has also made a substitution. You mentioned it already, Randy, and Lydiakov. He's come in to try to shore up the midfield and maybe make something happen, because certainly both teams have been frustrated by not having their passes on target.
There's Savage winning a ball, gets it back now from Henderson. Bruce Savage, and you talk about a homecoming from nearby Hollywood, Florida, crossing it into the box. He looked for Winalda. It's rejected back out again for a throw-in. There's Bruce, a veteran of the indoor wars in Baltimore. Many of our viewers from that area of Maryland and the D.C. area will know Bruce from his play with the Blast. Now a key member of the defense for the national team. This is Kiryakov, who was active for the CIS in the first half of play. Pushed ahead. This is Sergeyev. Short ball played back as the United States has everyone but Winalda back defensively behind the ball. This is Saeba. Saeba from the World Cup team in Italy, and a nice turn, and then a blast that hit Marcelo Balboa flush in the side of the head. He's all right as Kinnear tries to win the ball, loses it again. And John Doyle using his size there to fend off the attacking player. Brian Quinn hesitating with it. It's taken away. We're seeing a little more of a high-pressure game now from the Commonwealth players. And there's a hard tackle by Clavillo, sending Piednitsky down to the field. And we'll have a free kick or a checked out, a throw-in now for the CIS.
Randy, one of the reasons why I think Brian appears to be being a little bit off form in his game this evening is that as a playmaker, a player that distributes the ball, you need people to run off of you. And it seems like they're not just sinking correctly. The runs are coming a little bit late, therefore he gets caught as he did just a moment ago, as we get to see a foul out on the field a moment ago when he was trying to play the ball forward.
Clavillo fouling Mandreka. And now they'll bring this free kick back to about the 30-yard out spot. To the left side. Headed down by Jorge Acosta. To the left wing side now. And cross back over for Sveva. Quinn with it again, this time playing the safe ball out to Bruce Savage. Savage ahead to Winalda. Winalda pushing it back to for Quinn. He had Acosta there, but Jorge had moved off of Lestov, trying to get away from him, and the pass went to the Commonwealth player instead. Scoreless tie. We're live at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. We've played about 5 minutes here in the second half. After the last one off, and a shot handled by Tony Meola. Mahalik, one touch back to Kinnear. And good pressure again as Sveva knocks it away. Mandraka to the left side. Shot, let go from there, blocked by Kinnear. Quinn after the loose ball. Now looks, based on the lineup out there, Matt, that the substitution was Ledyakov for Chernyshev, the speedy second division forward we were talking about, who I guess wasn't quite speedy enough in the first half. At least Vaishovitz, the CIS coach, wanted to have a look at someone else. There's Eric Winalda. There's Savage getting set to throw it in.
Well, Chernyshev showed some speed, but he also showed that he wasn't really controlling the ball that well, and he was losing it a lot. So, of course, Vaishovitz puts in Ledyakov to try to get more control of that ball.
Commonwealth with the ball. Sveva. From the middle, the pass by Lestar. This is Ledyakov, and it goes out. Check that, it was Kuznetsov that it went off. Or Savage, rather, and Kuznetsov will throw it in. You see some of the areas around the field here under construction as we look at Bora Milutinovic. There are a number of construction projects going on here, not the least of which is preparing for Major League Baseball here in South Florida. Florida Marlins set to take the field in the 1993 Major League Baseball season, and they're doing things here like building dugouts and warning tracks and getting this stadium configured for baseball as well as for NFL and World Cup soccer. Truly a multi-purpose facility here in South Florida. They've got a great stadium. The USA chant comes from the large crowd here in Miami again. There's a look at the dugout in progress. You see it is a dugout dug below the surface of the field. To the United States in midfield. No score as Clavillo will knock it back toward his own goal for Balboa. And the crowd a little frustrated here at times, as I guess we are, with the lack of offensive creativity by the United States, as this continues to be one of those nights where everybody's trying to get their legs back after somewhat of a long off season, 2 months. Some of these players were playing indoor during that time. Many of them weren't. The team has been assembled here in South Florida, some of them as early as January 8th. The majority of them have been here since the 12th for a training camp to try and get some of that rhythm back. Perhaps they'll find it here in the second half as John Doyle makes a run up the right side. Doyle pushing it up for Henderson, rather, and his cross goes out of play, and it'll be a goal kick for the CIS. We're in the second half, live at Joe Robbie Stadium, no score, and we'll be back in a moment.
Most guys kick back on the weekends. Jack, on the other hand, so how do you feel?
Ready to rock and roll.
Only one beer has the taste as genuine as the people who drink it. Budweiser.
Tomorrow,
we're sleeping in.
Come on, Taffy. Let's go find Daddy. Hi. I like the
Who's coming? With a Coke for Daddy. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Daddy.
Ice cold, too.
Thank you, Daddy.
Jennifer.
Randy Hahn with Rick Davis and Matt Barr. We're back live at Joe Robbie Stadium. The United States with the ball. Now without it. In the white, it's the Commonwealth of Independent States, which minus the Baltics makes up what used to be the Soviet Union, playing in their first ever match. First of 2 against the U.S. with round 2 next Sunday in Detroit. And we have a free kick coming up for the United States as you're looking at number 11 for the CIS, Sergei Kiryakov.
Randy, both teams are starting to mobilize the forces here on the sidelines. They've got players up warming up for the Commonwealth of Independent States. Number 13, Igor Chiganov, is going to be coming in here, I think, first opportunity. And also on the sidelines for the American team is number 9, Roy Lassiter.
So some possible changes coming early here in the second half. There's Lassiter from North Carolina State University. He has never played for the United States internationally before. He's 22 years of age from Raleigh, North Carolina. One of the 5 players who survived a mini camp here early in the month. Bora Milutinovic bringing in some of the young college players from around the country. Having a look at some of them, free agents of sorts, and Lassiter is one who survived the cut, if you will, to get a chance to suit up here today, and it looks like he may get a chance to come in here if Milutinovic goes ahead with the substitution. Ball out near side now, and the throw in for the CIS. Down to 34 minutes and a little bit unofficially on the clock here at Joe Robbie in this scoreless tie. Clavillo wins it in the air. It comes back to Mahalik. Kinnear with the quick pass to Quinn. Now a nice build-up as it comes to Savage. Bruce sending it to Henderson. He'll have to back up to collect it, but does. Quick pressure, but Henderson trying to put the move on there. Lost possession. Now kind of pushes a soft pass toward the front of the box. Quinn settling it for Acosta. Jorge winding up, and the shot is wide. As Jorge Acosta unloaded with a left footer, and we'll have a goal kick when we come back. Still no score here at Joe Robbie on Sports Channel.
You old smoothie, never treat me rough. Never. So smooth and creamy, never get enough. So one little taste, forget about the rest. Mars Milky Way, you're my happiness. You old smoothie, melt my heart away. The original smoothie, Mars Milky Way, make life a little sweeter.
It happens every morning in London, Paris, and Madrid. In Munich, Manchester, Zurich, and Brussels. In Glasgow, Stockholm, Frankfurt, and Milan, as the new day arrives, so do we. American Airlines, with more non-stops to Europe from across the U.S. than any other airline. American Airlines, something special to Europe.
Back live in Miami, CIS on the attack. At the edge of the box, Kuznetsov trying to turn it for a shot, but that's rejected by the American defense. Action heating up here in the second half of this scoreless tie. Ball out now, I think, off of a Commonwealth player. Check that, it's off Quinn, and it will go as a throw in for the CIS. This is down at the other end a moment ago with a chance for Jorge Acosta on a shot from the left side, and he just got a little bit too much underneath this and it went out.
Well, Acosta showed there why he was the ASL's all-time leading scorer. He's not afraid to pull the trigger, and he does have a good, hard shot.
Ball down at the other end as we return to the live action. Throw in here as Savage sends it into Brian Quinn. Players for both teams periodically warming up on the sidelines. Bora Milutinovic has made a change, as is Anatoly Baishevitz, the CIS coach. Both those coming at the half. Here's Clavillo now for the United States. Back from Quinn. Now to Chris Henderson. Chris out of Everett, Washington, went to Cascade High there and is playing in his 23rd game in a full international for the United States here tonight. What a success story at the age of 20. Crossed by Savage into the box. Acosta close to it, but unable to find it around a maze of CIS defenders. As it comes back to Dimitri Harim in goal for the CIS. He has not been real busy tonight. Neither has Tony Miola, for that matter. There's a look at some of the numbers on Karin. 21 international appearances for him. As we mentioned, most of the lineup for the CIS has not appeared internationally before. In fact, only 2 of the starting 11 had international games of experience coming into this one. Here's an opportunity. A shot saved off the post, and the rebound kicked out as Sergayev unloaded on Tony Miola. Miola getting his body in front of it, and it deflected off the post.
Well, Sergayev really took a hard blast that Tony Miola had to count on his best friend, the post, to knock it out of there.
Now the corner coming back for the CIS. Still scoreless. We're live in the second half. Miola coming out, and he's got this one. Good reactions by Miola on the Sergayev shot.
Well, here it comes again. watch this shot, a hard left-footed blast that Miola gets his hand on, and then, of course, the post comes into play there. So Miola was in great position to save that, and the post is the keeper's best friend.
Sergeyev really showing a strong left foot there, and I think he was disappointed that he didn't keep that shot closer to the post side. He drove it toward the middle. That was without doubt the best scoring opportunity of the game for either side so far. But Randy, it is still 0-0.
Randy, one of the things that forwards are often taught to do is to not hit the ball so hard. Goalkeepers, so much of their training is done on reactions. There, Tony Miola reacting very quickly, maybe making the save actually easier to do had the guy misfired the shot a little bit and have it roll on the ground.
CIS still with possession. Over to the far side. Comes back through the middle off of Onyakov to Kuznetsov. He tried to play it through, but it wouldn't go. Now Henderson knocks it across. Mahalik playing it ahead to Quinn. Quinn under pressure. It's deflected away, and now Doyle will have to go all the way back to Tony Miola. Now here's Marcelo Balboa taking it, and the Commonwealth players are turning up their level of intensity here in the second half, as the USA has to some extent. Coming back to Miola again, and the crowd a little disappointed with this constant passing back of the ball to the goalkeeper.
And Randy, both coaches are awaiting momentarily now to make that substitution. The players have warmed up. They're now actually standing by the sideline waiting to be signaled on the field. That being number 13 for the CIS team, Igor Chuganov, and number 9 for the United States team, Roy Lassiter. Obviously, coach is not happy with what it is that they've seen out there, and they're trying to insert players to maybe give a little bit of an extra lift to their team, to their players, and also specifically maybe even giving assignments to some of these players as they enter the field that they can communicate to the other players.
Rick, do you think the tongue lashing that both teams probably received at halftime had anything to do with the raise in intensity that you see out there?
I think that it did a little bit, certainly for the CIS team. Tongue lashing, I'm sure they got, because this isn't a banner performance by either team. I think that the players tend to react to different types of stimulus. I remember as a player, if somebody yelled at me, used to kind of make me mad.
So the substitution you saw there by the CIS, number 13, Igor Chugayev coming in for Madreko. And play goes on as the ball comes out over the far side again. Lassiter still waiting to be signaled in by the referee for the United States. Evidently some paperwork had to be taken care of, not properly filled out, as he's back over on the bench. Now he's got his pink slip. Meantime, to throw in back on the far side. Outside the 18-yard box, headed back in again. Covillo went up, won that in the air momentarily. CIS continuing to put on the pressure here in the second half. Here is Tsveba. And his pass at the edge of the box is kicked out by Balboa. And it will be Eric Winalda coming out for the USA as you look at Marcelo Balboa. So now the United States has made their substitution. In is number 9, Roy Lassiter, of whom we spoke, from North Carolina State University. Has to be a thrilling moment for him. His first ever appearance in the USA uniform. Ball out of play down at the end line, and the United States will get this back on the goal kick. There's Roy from Raleigh, North Carolina, 5'11", 165 pounds, 22 years of age, and takes the spot of Eric Winalda.
Andy, what do you think his blood pressure level is at this point?
Boy, it's got to be pretty intense. Big crowd here, an important game, a scoreless tie, and he comes in for a regular forward in his first appearance.
First appearance, an opportunity where he can certainly impress a coach that'll be coaching the team down the road here. Great opportunity, but I would imagine adrenaline is pumping through his something at some kind of a fierce pace.
Covillo now playing the ball back through the middle as the crowd tries spurs on the United States. Lassiter back there. Good job to cut off the pass back to the goalkeeper by Chernyshov. It comes back through the middle. Covillo pushing off Kiryakov, gets away with it. Now Balboa looks for Lassiter. The pass left side, Lassiter after it. This will be cleared to the center field side of the flag, so this will be throw-in USA, not corner kick. I I'm impressed, gentlemen, by this crowd here. This has not been the most exciting of games so far as both these teams come off layoffs, but this crowd really is intent on having a good time.
They're intent on having a good time. They're starting another wave as it makes its way around the stadium here. One of the important things in terms of Miami, in terms of being a host venue community for the upcoming World Cup, was the ability to mobilize the local soccer community. And this game has certainly demonstrated, just by the sheer numbers of people that are here, that they're well behind the effort here in terms of the soccer as a sport.
Tremendous job by the organizers here as the USA continues to draw large crowds at its international matches. Now a chance for the CIS. Back to the front for Piatnitsky, and that's cleared away. And the CIS there a little deliberate with their passing inside that, I guess we could call it soccer's red zone, the 18-yard box, and it was an opportunity that got away from them right there.
Sure, they would like to have a shot after a number of good passes, and Piatnitsky set it all up by dribbling between 4 U.S. players at midfield.
That kind of penetration without a shot is a disappointment, but disappointment also showing, and I think, a little frustration on the face of Bora Milutinovic down there, wondering what it's going to take to spur his team on in this game. Of course, they'll have a week to talk over what to do against this club next time around when they meet a week from tomorrow at the Silver Dome in Pontiac, Michigan. Clavillo heading this ball in the 18-yard box, not out of trouble yet. The shot deflected in. Sveba's shot went in off a defender in front, and it is 1-0 CIS.
That is a goalkeeper's worst nightmare. Sveba takes a good hard shot. Miola thinks he has the angle on it, and it deflects off a U.S. defender. It's going to come up right in a moment here. Deflects off the U.S. defender, and Miola's caught wrong-footed, and he just can't make the save. Sveba showed that even though you don't have a clear shot, you can still get a goal on it. Looks like it deflected off Doyle. Here it comes again. Right there. There's a deflection, and Miola's caught wrong-footed, and it goes in the net. Goalkeeper's worst nightmare. And Sveba, he's one of the most experienced players on the field.
There's the shot by Sveba, and John Doyle, in fact, trying to clear that. Kicks it into his own net. Obviously, no opportunity for Tony Miola there. So, an own goal, if you will, is the difference in this game now as the CIS has taken the lead. Still 22.5 minutes left, however, in the second half. Now a nasty tackle down deep, and we may get a yellow card here as number 15, Lediakov, brought down Marcelo Balboa, and the referee is over there quickly to adjudicate. We may see a yellow come out as Miola is yelling at the referee now, and they're asking that the American trainer be allowed onto the field to attend to Marcelo Balboa. That was seemingly, and I don't know what your angle was down there, Rick, a fairly nasty tackle down deep.
Yeah, a little bit of a nasty tackle, and in kind of an unimportant part of the field. Typically, when the ball is won clearly by one of the players, offensively, the team need not put that type of a play or that type of an effort forward. As we get an opportunity to look at the replay, Marcelo clearly having the ball here. What? I don't understand a tackle like that. That's, I think, a little bit of over-enthusiasm, or in that particular case, maybe the willfulness of to instill harm upon another player, because that just has no place in this game.
And Lediakov, I believe, did get a card, and I'm sure it's because he showed the bottom of the spikes in that tackle. Whenever you put your foot up, it's really a dangerous situation, and that's the reason why Marcelo Balboa is down right now.
So as they attend to Balboa, Igor Lediakov gets the yellow card for the CIS. He's a 27-year-old, so a veteran of league play in his country. Russia, plays for Rotor Volgograd there. And you could write it off to youthful enthusiasm were it not for his age, I think.
Now, that type of play isn't youthful enthusiasm, Randy, because once again, in this particular case, Marcelo is completely vulnerable, has his back to the play, clearly has possession of the ball. It's off in the corner of the field, not once again right in front of the goal where there's a scoring opportunity that may result of being able to strip the ball away from Marcelo. And he tackles him when he doesn't even get to see it coming.
So the yellow's been given, and we are back underway, and that is Balboa, who has recovered and will stay on. Slipping was Savage and unable to get that pass. Here's the goal again from Sveba. And you see the change in direction off John Doyle, completely catching Tony Meola and the rest of the USA defense off guard.
Svaber was the only player on this field today for the Commonwealth who played in Italy in the last World Cup. And one unique fact about Svaber, he is Georgian, but he won the top player of the year in the Ukraine, and that's quite an honor because that's tough to do. They would not normally give it to a Georgian, but he must be quite a player to win that award.
Many of the top players for the Soviet Union were from Russia and from the Ukraine. Many of those whom we talked about that have been sold to club teams in Europe. And Sveba is one of those from Georgia, as you mentioned, Matt, and also one of the few people on the field who's played against the United States. Here he is again, tackled by Balboa, who did a lot cleaner job of that than Ledyakov did on him in the corner a moment ago. Sveba was slow to get up, but he's all right. Back to Chagainov now. 1-0. CIS leads the United States. We're under 19 minutes unofficially left here in the second half. Cross front of the box, intended for Kiryakov, and that will be cleared over to the far side.
Randy, strategy starting to become a part of the Commonwealth of Independent States game plan at this particular point. They're about ready to make another substitution, bringing in number 10, a forward, Yuri Nikiforov, bringing out, I believe, number 8, Andrei Pianatnitsky, who is a midfielder. So they're thinking that offense is something that might help them stay ahead in this game, and they're putting in an offensive type of player.
Chagainov, 13, quick pass up the right side, Sveba after it there. And it will be cleared out by Mahalik. And there you see number 10, Yuri Nikiforov, his first international appearance. And we're comparing their prior appearances to their appearances with the Soviet team, of course. And now the switch as Nikiforov comes on in place of Piatnitsky. The short throw in to the edge of the USA 18-yard box. Cross back in. Henderson planted there, heads it toward Kinnear in midfield. The CIS dominating play here in the second half. As the ball comes out, the U.S. will get a throw in. It seems like a long time since the ball's been in the other 18-yard area.
Randy, on the other side of the field, the United States team, they're about ready to make a tactical change as well. Bora Milutinovic opting to bring in a newcomer to the United States team, which would be his first appearance, that being number 16, Mike Sorber out of St. Louis University, who is a midfield, creative midfield type of player, and I'm sure he's looking for him to try and generate a little bit better ball distribution and ultimately generate some things offensively.
Ball controlled now by the Commonwealth. Brian Quinn will get it back. Doyle fakes the pass back. Now Quinn will try and create from the far right wing. Overlapping run by Savage, but Quinn elects to go up the middle looking for Lassiter. That's intercepted, cleared back by Chernishaw. Harin, who's barely touched the ball in this second half, picks up for the CIS. Well, it makes sense that Milutinovic would want to bring in some of these players who survived the minicamp. He doesn't have a whole lot of opportunities to get these players in because after the game against this team again in Detroit next week, the United States goes on the road for a game in Costa Rica, and it's unlikely that all those players would accompany the team on the trip to Central America. So he wants to get a look at them while they're still on home soil. Here's Mahalik. Look cross far side. Up in the air goes Doyle. Knocks it back through for Kinnear. We're going to get a handball and a penalty kick for the USA.
Well, Kinnear certainly helped out on that call a little bit. He headed the ball. He saw the handball take place, and he was motioning to the official. A hand took place. A hand took place, and it looks like the official either saw it on his own or might have taken his advice.
Here's another look at the handball and see if we can pick it up in this crowd.
Well, Doyle brings it in. Good cross to Kinnear, and Kinnear gets ahead on it. Right there. Drives it down, and of course it was a handball. Now there's a little delay, but all the players are raising their hand, looking for that infraction, looking for the call.
Yeah, a little argument because it clearly did hit the CIS player's hand, and as it was goal bound.
Here's Balboa now on the penalty kick for the United States, and a chance to tie the game. And it's saved by Karin. Balboa goes straight up the middle and low, and Karin stops number 17 and keeps the CIS in the lead.
Well, it looked like Balboa was trying to catch Karin guessing, because Karin made the move, dove, and he put it up the middle, and Karin caught it with his feet and made the great save.
Now an offside flag comes up as the CIS penetrates down at the other end. And what a disappointing missed opportunity as Balboa's penalty kick is stopped. We'll take a break and come back on Sports Channel.
The times I can't forget, the hero who's my friend, I know that it's forever. The real thing, talking about the real thing. Oh, you know it when you see it, know it when you feel it, know it when you drink it. Coca-Cola classic, can't beat the real thing.
Making life a little sweeter, making life a little sweeter. Mars, making life a little sweeter. I can stay a while, making dreams a little truer, life a little sweeter.
Matt Barr and Rick Davis back live at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. The CIS with a 1-0 lead, and on the attack again. The header off the post. It hit Miola, and it'll stay in play. And they almost made it 2-0 right there as Kiryakov put one on target that hit the post, and that's the second post that the Commonwealth has hit in this game.
Here it comes again. Number 10, Nikiforov, sends the ball across. Kiryakov has a good header, gets up really high, drives it to the far post. Unfortunately for him, it hits the post. Fortunately for goalkeeper Tony Miola, it was there.
Turnover in midfield. Here's Clavillo to Henderson. Under 13 minutes left on the stadium clock. The USA certainly still in this. Here's another look at the penalty kick by Balboa as he goes right-footed low. And I'm wondering, Rick, down in the field there near the USA bench, was there any discussion that Balboa maybe should not have taken that because he was hurt earlier?
Well, Randy, obviously hindsight will tell us that that probably should have been the case because he was injured in a very dangerous and bad tackle earlier in the game. You wonder what goes on in a person's mind when they've been involved in something like that, because a penalty kick to me is nothing more than a mental game. All you got to do is pick a spot in the goal and then hit it.
Acosta with an opportunity, spotted Lassiter up front, and Lassiter unhappy with the job he did receiving that pass. It was head high, and he let it go over his head, perhaps thinking someone was running in on the right wing. But that was an opportunity that goes by the board late in the game here. Down to 11.5 minutes left in regulation. The Commonwealth of Independent States, formerly the Soviets, playing in their first game abroad, leading 1-0.
Rick, to go back to that penalty kick just a little bit, there's two schools of thought on taking the kicks. One is to finesse it and put it to one side or the other, hope to catch the keeper guessing and put it to the opposite side. And the other is to just blast it to one side or the other and hope that the keeper can hold on to it. In this case, it looked like Balboa was trying to finesse it. He did catch the keeper guessing, but he held his feet enough to stop it with his feet.
Yeah, I think you're right, Matt, because there are two clearly different philosophies involved there. But I think if you're going to finesse it, you might as well make sure you get it pretty close to one of the corners in the event that the goalkeeper doesn't commit himself too much to one way, as we saw the CIS goalkeeper, Haran, not do.
United States with an opportunity here. Quinn crossing, looked wide to the right. That time trying to reach Sorber. One of the substitutes here in the second half. Mike Sorber out of St. Louis University. Back the other way come the Commonwealth. Kiryakov into the box again. This time looking for a teammate running on. Miola has it out to Jorge Acosta. Acosta to Lassiter. Lassiter in all kinds of traffic and unable to hold it there and wait for help from the back.
But that was an example of Miola getting involved in the offense, because as soon as he got the ball, he threw it upfield quickly to Lassiter and Acosta, who almost made something happen.
Here's Chagaina. Back across it comes to Lestov. Lestov works it far to the opposite side of the field from our broadcast position. Mickey Koroff with it for a moment. Cleared back now for Balboa. Long ball, but Lassiter is a good 10 yards offside. And he acknowledges the whistle immediately for the linesman on the far side. So the CIS will get it back here as we have some work being done on number 13 for the Commonwealth. Chagainov getting a rub over on the near sideline here. There you see Chachabin Hadadzi, that is.
Yeah, Randy, actually it is Hadadzi. It's a fatigue injury. He came over. It looks like he's either having cramp problems or potentially a muscle pull, which in his case would be devastating at this point, because a cramp you can play your way through. A muscle pull, there's nothing you can do.
Rick, I know this is just a minor breach of the rules, but doesn't Tahadze has to ask permission to get back in the game simply because he came off the field to be treated?
It's a significant breach of the rules, because once you leave the field of play, you are not allowed to re-enter the field until the referee signals you on.
Well,
he came over to the sideline, got treatment off of the field, and then just simply walked back out there when he wanted to.
Nobody on the U.S. bench seems to be particularly upset about it. Not that it would make any difference if they were at this point. Ball back in the U.S. half of the field now, or in the CIS half of the field. And the U.S. trying to find a way to equalize here as we're under 10 minutes left in regulation. 1-0 on the goal by Zveba that deflected off John Doyle earlier in the second half. There's Chagainov. Gets the return pass, or almost did, but Clovillo intercepts. He turns it right back over. Chagainov off his head. Kinnear with it for a moment, and the CIS doing a good job in midfield here, battling and winning balls, and more importantly, killing a lot of clock. Sorber trying to track it down, so far unsuccessfully. Ledyakov, some skillful moves as he turns a couple of American midfielders around. Now gets it back on a nice pass. Here's Ledyakov working his way down the left side, and a body check of some significance thrown there by John Doyle.
That's a clash of titans. You've got two guys that stand about 6'3" each. Matt, people like you and I get stuck in between those guys when they collide, and we get hurt.
Absolutely. Ledyakov, you know, maybe Doyle cracked him a little bit, because Ledyakov almost looked like he was playing with the U.S. defender. A little bit.
Savage back there controlling for the United States. We'd like to remind you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of Soccer USA Partners and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction, publication, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of the game without the express written consent of Soccer USA Partners is prohibited. I don't know that one off by heart. Here's the throw-in for the CIS now as we're down under 7 minutes. Doyle up to knock it out. The shot from outside the area deflects once more, and Miola had visions of the last one that went in. We pause with a goal kick coming up. It's 1-0 CIS.
I have a confession. I have no idea how to choose a long-distance calling plan. I don't have to. Sprint does it for me. They keep track of when and where I call and actually let me know which calling plan will save me the most money. They do all that just because I'm a Sprint Priority customer. And I thought it was because I was their spokesperson.
Can't get enough of America's first World Cup? You will in Soccer America. How about our national team and the Olympics? Soccer America delivers.
I've been reading Soccer America ever since I went head-to-head against Pelé back in the 70s. I like Soccer America because it profiles personalities. It reports on the pro, college, women's, and international scenes, and focuses on the very pulse of soccer in America.
Call toll-free to learn more about Soccer America, the USA's only national soccer weekly. 18 issues, just $19.94. Call 1-800-453-6500 now.
A free kick opportunity for the United States, but before, I think we're going to get another yellow card to the Commonwealth, and indeed we are, as there was some delay on the restart due to the rather tardy actions of Sergeyev, who was not moving away from that ball in time for the United States to initiate this free kick quickly enough. So now he's been booked, and we get the free kick for the USA. Try to equalize here as we're down under 5 minutes. Kinnear into the box, off the head of Clavillo, right at the top of the bar, and pushed over. And some behind the CIS goal thought that had gone in, and it had a chance.
Well, Lassiter, even though he didn't get a head on the ball, made Karen really stretch to knock it over the net. He couldn't hold on to it, and he just challenged. Just that challenge alone got the corner kick.
There's another corner, and up in the air went Doyle. It was knocked away. Quinn on the rebound, and that's way too high.
Well, here it comes again. Clavillo gets the head on it. Now watch Lassiter challenge the keeper and force him to knock it over the net.
Some cool play by Karen, the CIS keeper, as Clavillo hit that ball so high with his head right there, and it just took a looping arc, and I thought it was going to go over, and it was very close to going in. Karen perfectly measuring that push of the ball over the crossbar. There he is, and here comes the USA again. Lassiter wide on the left side. As we're under 4 minutes, he's tripped up as the ball comes out. Spaba initiating the contact there. As you look at Lassiter from North Carolina State, looking pretty good here in the last couple of minutes in his first appearance in an American uniform. Spaba has been delivering on both ends for the CIS. Trying to get it turned around is Sorber. He'll force it out wide now, and it'll be kicked off his foot by Kuznetsov, out of play. Poor throw by Kinnear, and now he kicks it back to the front of the box for Henderson. Second time around, he'll knock it through. Spaba up in the air, clears that one away. Now the loose ball on the near side as we come down under 3 minutes. And Clavillo will let it roll out for the throw-in. Far side, Doyle up there. Let's see what the call is. Goal kick. Time now for the American Airlines Something Special in the Air play of the game, and it's the save by Dmitry Harin on Marcelo Balboa on the penalty kick here in the second half. A goal that would have tied this game, but Karen, the Olympic gold medalist for the then Soviet Union in '88, comes up with the stop. American Airlines, the official airline of the U.S. Soccer and the U.S. World Cup team, congratulates Dmitry Karen of the CIS for a play that is truly something special in the air. To the live action as Lassiter at the edge of the box for the United States, trying to find someone back the other way. Henderson in the mix as we're under 2 minutes unofficially now here at Joe Robbie. Back to Clavillo as the United States starts to send people forward. His shot kicked from behind right into the hands of Karen. And he'll hold it and try and waste some time. Kick by Karen, and it goes out of play far side. This will be a throw-in for the CIS. Knocked back the other way. Push to the right side. This is Shagainov. He has room, measures it. Not sure if that was a cross or a pass. It is headed out back there by Bruce Savage, and another corner kick for the Commonwealth.
Smart move by Bruce Savage, because Kiryakov was standing right behind him waiting to unload on that ball. He was hanging all alone on the back post, and Savage knew he was there and knocks the ball out of bounds for the corner.
So the corner kick now for the CIS. Curled to the middle. Miola up. Bobbling it. A whistle inside the area. And it's played back out now as the United States in a hurry to try and create something. Balboa coming back to the middle. Delaying, now looks to the right. Doyle has to wait for it. Ahead to Kinnear. Dominic turns. Pushes it wide to the right. Back to Kinnear. He couldn't handle it. And some sloppy play here by the USA in the final couple of minutes. Now Quinn, a nice ball back through the middle and kicked out by the defender back there for the CIS. Time for our most valuable player award. Tonight's Mars Milky Way Bar World Series of Soccer MVPs are number 4 for the CIS, Arik Sveba, the defender who scored the goal on the deflection. Did a good job there, but he's been harassing